my nano beam detector. But it is a beautiful day here on the island of St. John. Hey everybody, welcome back to Disappointing Your Demons. My name is Ron, a grateful recovering alcoholic. In case you're wondering what that noise is in the background, that is the shit transfer pump that they installed about a year ago because the main shit transfer pump for the sewage broke, and so they got like a portable one and they hooked it up. It was supposed to be temporary, and here we are a year later and that thing's still going strong. So they're not going to bother to fix it. But you know, hey, I think I talked about it before, but it's paradise, right? So what I want to talk about today, it's been a while and I apologize. I was dealing with dengue fever round 2. Didn't last as long as the first time, but the amount of time that it did last was so much more intense, and I felt so much sicker than the first time around. It was terrible. So I've been kind of out of commission for a while. But in the midst of all that, on Monday the 8th, I celebrated 6 months of sobriety. Woohoo! Go me. And got a funny story to tell about that, but at first I need to give all the disclaimers of that I'm not a medical professional, I'm not a doctor, just a guy who drank too much and lives on a rock in the middle of the Caribbean. But what I want to talk about is actually something that I heard in one of my meetings. It was a topic, and it was perfect for me because I had been kind of feeling this way. Been getting down in the dumps a little bit, stuck in my own head, thinking about all the woulda, coulda, shouldas, all the things that I've done wrong, both in sobriety and out of sobriety, as far as doing wrong by people and misbehaving and, you know, all that shit. And I was really getting in my head and getting pretty down in the dumps about that. And then kind of started getting out of it, but then really started to get in my own head about like what, oh my god, this fucking noise. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on out there, but you know, nothing gets done during the week, but all of a sudden on a Saturday when I want to record a video, like all of a sudden the whole freaking island is doing construction. Anyway, so what I was thinking is that on my sobriety day and also in my fever-filled delirium was just how sobriety was getting stale. Like things at first, when you first get sober, they call it the pink cloud, and you're on it for a while and you're like, all right, I'm sober, things start to get better, and you're just kind of riding this high all of itself, like it's pretty euphoric. But then, you're doing the AA meetings every day, and you're, working the steps, and you're doing this, and you're doing that, and then you kind of look around and you go like, wow, like, I just hit 6 months, and, basically, is this it? Like, is this as good as it's going to get? Like, and then also, like, where, kind of like, where's my trophy? I want a freaking trophy. I've been sober for 6 months. I deserve some sort of reward. And, I, as a parent and as a person in general, was not like the participation trophy type of person. Like, if my kids were not good at something and they tried it, I'd come right out and be like, you're freaking terrible at that. Like, you either gotta, you gotta get better. You should practice more or something because you're not good. And same thing with, people in general. So yeah, that's the, kind of mentality that I have, the kind of personality. And and like other things like that in today's society, like somebody, especially down here, like where it's kind of like the helicopter mom society, where somebody can post some fucking garbage artwork on freaking Facebook and be like, oh, I'm having a show, whatever the fuck, I don't know, and freaking like the whole world is like, oh my god, you're so talented, and you should be an artist. And no, you shouldn't. I've seen third graders finger paint something better than whatever the fuck that garbage is. But that's the world we live in, and everybody wants something, and I can be a little bit guilty of it too, I suppose. Again, with the whole thinking that I want a trophy. And I'll tell a little story. It's kind of funny, but it's going to have a point eventually. So on Monday, on my 6-month celebration, I was sitting on my deck all sick and miserable, and I was just sipping on a little iced coffee, which I know I should probably drink more water, but I was sipping on a little iced coffee, smoking a cigarette. And so when I get into, like when I quit drinking, or when I'm going through the DTs, the delirium tremens and everything, like part of it is I hallucinate, and part of my hallucinations are sensory. I've never visually hallucinated, at least not that I know of, but I don't think I've ever visually hallucinated, but I have sensory and or tactile and auditory hallucinations. Like, for example, I feel like I've got bugs crawling all over me. I'm like itchy, and I just feel like, like there's like little like spiders all over me or something. And then the other is for the auditory hallucinations. I got like 2 of them that are pretty consistent, because I've done this 3 times now, maybe 4, but I think definitely 3. And the auditory hallucinations, part of it is I hear like old-timey music, kind of like, think like World War II era kind of music that you hear on that old type of radio or old type of record player. It's constantly in the background, and it's actually not that bad. It's kind of actually enjoyable. Like I just kind of sit there and like I know it's happening, and I kind of bop along to it, and that's cool. But the other auditory hallucinations are terrible. It's I hear sirens, and they're loud as fuck. Like I remember I had a roommate one time, and I was going through DTs and was hearing sirens, and I swear that there was like a 5-alarm fire going on right outside my apartment, and I ran over to the window and I threw the window open, and I'm looking, and my roommate's just looking at me like I'd lost my mind, which I kind of had, if you think about it. And I'm like, you don't hear that? You don't hear that? And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, is there a fire? Is there an emergency? Is there a car accident outside? He's like, no, what? And so I open the window and stick my head out the window, and as soon as I do that, I see that there's nothing, and it kind of went away. So I just was like, oh boy, and I would go down and lay down and keep going through it. But so anyways, back to Monday the 8th, I'm sitting on my deck smoking a cigarette, and all of a sudden, like, I hear sirens, and I'm like, oh, fuck me, man, like, what is going on? And then the sirens start getting louder and louder. I'm like, dude, like, I haven't had a drink in 6 months, and now I'm hearing sirens again. Like, what is going on? So I'm thinking, like, oh man, is it like the fever? Is it because I'm sick that I'm hearing it? And they just get louder and louder and louder until it's like just maddening, like literally, like it's like right outside my deck. And so finally, I'm like looking around, and finally I kind of get on Facebook. I'm like, okay, I gotta ask, like, and I gotta put it in a way that makes it seem like I'm not freaking going crazy. So I ask on Facebook, and then I get a response pretty much right away. But I was just like, I pretty much just wrote like, what's with all the sirens or something, like, and there's a place called like the Gravel Lot right near my house. And I said, it sounds like it's coming right from the Gravel Lot. And lo and behold, there was a youth baseball league or something like that, but they were having a parade, and every single ambulance and fire truck on this island was part of the procession, and they were just blasting their sirens at full volume, going all through basically what we call town, Cruise Bay. And so they were real. They were real. But okay, so my point of that story is that if I ever want to know like what my trophy is, what my reward is for being sober for 6 months, it's that I don't have to go through that bullshit again. It's that, when I hear sirens, they're freaking real. That when I go somewhere and people actually say hi to me and are happy to see me, or that my kids invite me over and I get to play with my grandson, or that I call my mom and she's not freaking just, obviously not wanting to hear from me, or not happy to hear that I'm on the other end of that phone, that she's actually happy to talk to me. That I get to wake up every morning not feeling like absolute goddamn death, not freaking running into the bathroom, dry heaving. My head is clear for the most part. That's my trophy. That's my reward. That's the bonus for all my hard work, for staying sober one day at a time. We do get kind of trophies in Alcoholics Anonymous. We get chips for different lengths of sobriety. So for the first year, depending on what group you're in, you get month-long chips, and then after that you get annual medallions. And I guess so in some way, shape, or form, that is a trophy. That is a reward for your efforts. But honestly, the reward is that I'm still alive. I'm alive and kicking. I wake up breathing every morning. I get to enjoy life. I can't think of a greater reward than that. Nobody ever said just because I got sober that I'm going to be a freaking millionaire, or that I'm going to be, I'm going to have a freaking, mansion or boats or planes or sports cars or anything like that. No. They said that you get to live, and you get a life second to none. Well, I've talked about this before. Life second to none to me is all the stuff that I've got now. The other option is, death, jail, or institutions, as they say. But yeah, I'm above ground. So I guess just think about it that way. If you're ever sitting there thinking that there's got to be something better, it's got to be something more to this sobriety thing. There's not. But that's not to be down on it. That's a really, really, really good reward. And the other thing too is that I was talking about it a little bit earlier, is that I was down in the dumps for all my past mistakes and things that I've done wrong, and the woulda, coulda, shouldas. You know what? That's going to happen. And there's another thing that happens with us, or with people in general, is that people come up to you and ask you, hey, how you doing? And our response is always, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm doing good, yeah, everything's fine. When in reality, a lot of times things couldn't be further from fine. Things couldn't be further from okay. And another thing that I've learned in sobriety, that I'm wrapping my head around and trying to learn, is that it's okay to not be okay. It's all part of the deal. It's all part of being human. I haven't been okay for a few weeks, or maybe even a month. I've been going through it, and one thing that I could do to make that all go away is pick up a drink, right? But picking up that drink will make everything go away. Not just my feelings, not just my emotions, not just my guilt. It'll make everything go away. My apartment, my job, my life, my family. So this is another thing that a guy told me, and it's not even an AA thing, it's just this guy's thing, is that you gotta get your mind wrapped around the fact that alcohol is not an option anymore. It's not an option, it's off the table. It's completely off the table. It's not even something that it should be even in your toolbox or thought of as an option, okay? Like, you just got to get that out of your head that you can go back to the bottle. You can't go back to the bottle. That is no longer an option. That is no longer something that should even be considered. And actually, once he said that, I was like, wow, that is really, really spot on. Like, I now think that, of everything else, I don't think of going back to drinking because it is no longer an option. I don't even know how to elaborate on it any more than that. It's no longer an option. Other things that are an option, talking to somebody, as uncomfortable as that can be. Talk to somebody who understands what you're going through, or maybe even is somebody that doesn't understand what you're going through. Just getting it off your chest. But back to what I was saying is, it's okay to not be okay. Life gets to you. It does. It has its high moments. It has its low moments, and you got to get through both of them in equal measure. There's gonna be days where everything just fucking sucks. Really, really is. And you're gonna try to do everything that you can to get yourself out of it, and it's gonna seem like nothing works. But you know what? You just have to deal with it. You just have to sit through it. You have to just let it pass like everything else. Not every single day is going to be bad. And don't let one bad day ruin your whole life. It's this disease is fatal. This disease is fatal. And do you want to lose everything just because you had one bad moment? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, just because you see, a spider in your house, are you going to burn your whole apartment? Well, I might. That's a bad example. But you get what I'm saying. Don't let one bad little incident derail everything you've worked so hard for. And just, again, back to my very original point, you don't get a trophy for this, per se. But also, you're not doing this, or shouldn't be doing this, for accolades or for, that pat on the back or anything like that. You'd be doing it for you and you alone, and doing it to save your own life. And again, that is the reward. So with all that being said, I am so proud of all of you who are going through this, though. We all say one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 minute at a time. Sometimes it's 1 second at a time. But whether you have 1 day or 100 years, you're doing it, and you should be proud of yourself. I guess that's all I got for today. But I'm glad to be back. Made it this far. Please like and subscribe and share it and comment. Always love to see the comments and read every comment. I answer every comment as best I can. If you're new to this channel, welcome. And I'm happy to have you here, and I hope that you hear something, and I hope that my message gets out there and helps to save somebody's life, because that's what this is all about. All right, thanks.